إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون. فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون. صدق الله العظيم. Did that look easy? Did that look easy? The son of Sheikh Al-Azari sat next to me. I am sweating, shivering. Alhamdulillah. Allah accept, inshallah. Qibla, Imam Sahib. Most of you are probably familiar with them. And those who specifically turned up today for Qibla Sheikh Yasir Abdul Basit Abdul Samad won't be fully familiar with Imam Sahib who leads the Tarawih here and also the Jum'ah Salah. It is not a wise thing to praise somebody in front of their face. Okay, so you shouldn't praise people in front of their face. But I will make one point very clear, inshallah. Qibla Imam Sahib has studied very hard. Very, very hard. He's traveled to Egypt, and there too he studied very, very hard. And now he is the Imam of this Masjid. In 5, 10, 20, 30, 50 years, he will be a failure. He will be a failure. And he won't be a failure due to his own credentials. He won't be a failure because he is no good. He will become a failure due to the community. The community either fails an imam or it allows the imam to succeed. For example, I light a fire today, but I've got no log, I've got no wood, I've got no paper, I've got nothing to put inside the fire. That fire won't last long. A little breeze, a little wind, and the fire will be out. So the only way that fire, that light, that heat will resonate from this masjid, if all of you lot put something into this masjid. And that's not your wealth, that's not your money, something more dear than wealth and money. Okay? Something more dear, something that you will sacrifice for. You will sacrifice your wealth and your money and your time. All for what? For your children. If you don't put your children into this masjid, if you don't put your children in this masjid at the hands of Qibla Imam Sahib, then Imam Sahib will have failed. Because to lead Salah, you can lead, anybody can lead Salah. You know a few surah from the Quran, you can lead Salah, no problem. Jummah khutbah, you can learn it within 1 hour. Every Jummah, same Arabic. The speech beforehand, you don't need to do a speech. So what's the point of having an Imam? What's the point for seeking out an Imam, looking at his credentials and qualifications, if you're not going to give your children to that Imam side? If your children are going to be sat home watching drama, watching Arsenal play Chelsea and Arsenal lose 4-1. It breaks my heart to say that. Or you're going to have your children sat next to you, yeah, on Saturday to watch Mo Salah. Rather than pray Salah, you're watching Mo Salah. So if you're going to have your children sat next to you, you're going to be ordering desserts and pizzas and everything. Your Imam Sahib has failed. So regardless, 8 o'clock, the time between Asr Salah and Maghrib, and you're sat at home watching football, rather than coming to the Masjid. Liverpool wins, Liverpool loses. You don't gain nothing, you don't benefit nothing. If you are sat here and Imam Sahib sat here or Qari Sahib sat on the chair, why? Because their father invested in their child. If the father does not invest in the child, then the father should have no objection and no cry that my son is a drug dealer, my son, he doesn't come to the masjid, my son doesn't pray salah, my son doesn't listen to me. And the reason for that is because the parents did not invest in their children, but rather businesses. One of my teachers used to say when I was young, that if your son becomes a doctor, he cannot save your life. When the time is right, you're going to be dying, regardless. If your son is an architect, he's not going to make a Taj Mahal inside your grave for you. If your son is a designer, he's not going to make you a luxury living room inside your grave. He can't help you. The only child that can help the father, the only qualification that can help the father is Quran, Deen, Islam. That's the only qualification where your son can enter into your grave. Your son will be inside your grave. When Hafiz mentioned I came here for Jum'ah, and I think at that time I mentioned about parents passing away and the children fighting over, should we cremate them or should we bury them? And this dialogue, this conversation only comes along when you don't educate your children. You don't invest in your children. I'm not saying don't make your children into doctors, make them into doctors, but also in Hafiz of Quran. Make your children into architects, lawyers, barristers, okay? And also make them Hafiz of the Quran. Make them an alim, make them somebody who serves the deen. At the Ottoman power, you know when the Ottomans ruled the world, when the Muslims ruled the world, how did they rule the world? They didn't just have ulama, they also had businessmen. And the ulama used to serve Islam with the wealth of the businessmen. The businessmen never said, this is my wealth, why are you taking my wealth? Why are you asking me for money? For they were one. So until the Muslims don't come together and take up certain aspects of life, certain responsibilities, we will have problems. Just like the LGBT now. That's everywhere. We don't have a single voice. Ulama are scared to talk. The community don't care because they've got business. So this is something that we all need to think. And like I said, your Imam Sahib will be a failure just like many other ulama in UK. Look around UK, how many failures we've got. And they have not failed because they are no good. They failed because we didn't sit with them. We didn't want to learn with them, but rather we sit behind the keyboard and say that sheikh's this and this sheikh's that and this group is this and this group. You know, we become keyboard warriors. But when it comes, the ulama and the teachers are sitting to teach, we're not interested. So it's something that we all need to do. Number one, just the way the masjid is full now for Isha Salah and Taraweeh. Every Isha Salah and morning prayer, Fajr. You know, there's 5 salahs that are fard upon us, not one. One of my teachers, Allah yarhamu, Sheikh Dr. Bashir Ahmed Siddiqui, rahmatullahi, they used to say, there's different types of people. Some people go to the masjid 5 times a day. Some people go to the masjid once a week. Some people go to the masjid twice a year. Some people go to the masjid once in a lifetime. Then they broke it down. People who go to the masjid 5 times a day are those who pray 5 times a day. And people who go to the masjid once a week are those who only go for Jum'ah. And people who go for the 2 salahs in a year are Eidain. The 2 Eid salahs, you turn up for Eid salah only. And then those people who go once in a lifetime, Janazah, make them, they carry the body to the masjid. So don't be one of those Muslims who come to the masjid only once a week, part-time. You don't